Yeah, we're back. Woo. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Click and Cliff. This is a podcast where we go beyond my Lego channel. Yes, I do have a Lego channel. It's called Click and Cliff, and I do a lot of Lego content. If you haven't noticed behind me, that's my thing. But this is a podcast that goes beyond that. I tell you life experiences, life stories, and stuff like that, and what's going on in my life and all that stuff. And this is where we go beyond that. We go past my Lego hobby, and I tell you all stories, and hopefully I entertain you. This is something you can listen to while you're working, doing whatever you're doing, having me on in the background. Or maybe I can try to entertain you, tell you some of my stories. Maybe I can make you smile, laugh, giggle, or where you can make fun of me. Uh, so yeah, last week we were talking about the horrible hot weather. Everybody knows I've been having trouble in my Lego shop, and I kind of want to talk about that today. Um, Everybody knows that I hired a contractor, and he did a poorly job, a very very poorly job, and I'm having to go behind him and spend more money and get things fixed. I have to replace my ceiling and an air conditioner, and that is the story we're going to today. Well, everybody knows the AC hasn't worked since day one, and the old contractor put it in very unprofessional. He doesn't want to replace it. Uh, he claims that I have the paperwork, which I do not. He said they were laying there by the remote in the shop after they put it in. Well, I went out there and all there was remote. The best thing they should have done is just went to my door of my house and gave it to me, but they didn't do that. So anyway, I've been dealing with an air conditioner that didn't work properly. So more money out of my pocket. I went and uh, I went and got me a AC repair guy. And I went to them one time. They came out and did something on that old split unit. It made it work for a couple of days. But they were very professional, and they're pretty warm. They said they can't guarantee anything on this unit because it's not what they put in or what they do. So, but they did attempt to fix it, but it, with no avail. So I called them back. Said, well, my air conditioner's messed up again, and they called me back and they said, is it doing the same thing as it was before? And I said, yes. And they kind of said, well, nothing really they can do. And I didn't know the repair guy said that they put in they got their own units that they go through a company and that they will guarantee it and make and keep running, and thought about it, and I just asked them, you know, y'all sell AC units? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, y'all take payments because they're expensive. And the lady on said, yes, we'll get a salesman out there and the next day. So they came out and they told me we went through the rigmarole, took them out to the shop, and they looked what we had. And when I first got the contractor said I needed a AC and heating unit put in, um, the old contractor said fine. They put one in. They told me I had a heater and air conditioning. So all right, yes. Thought we were doing good. Well, the guy come back in the house and he said, "You want a heater out there?" I said, "Well, I was supposed to have one." And he said, "Nope, it's just AC." He said, "I guess there's something else that will go on the machine on the outside to make it heat or something." He said, and it's not there. So the guy lied to me. Uh, Imagine that. And then also, the guy in the said that size of unit, and he also informed me that that unit is not near big enough. The unit I have out there, he explained to me as, those little trailers that construction companies put on job sites that holds a desk for the supervisor and a coffee pot and maybe a chair on the other side. Not very big. That's about as big as the unit was made that I have that was made for, and or an RV. So it wasn't even big enough to cool that shop. So it was a pretty bad experience. So the guy sat down, we talked, looked at air conditioners, told him what I want. I said I just want it cool, comfortable in there, and in wintertime I want it to be warm. It don't have to be a burning me out of the shop kind of deal or freezing me out of the shop. I just want it to be comfortable in there. Went through prices and can't believe how much they cost. Cost a lot of money. I ended up paying about as much as I paid for the shop to be done for this AC. Luckily, they're taking payments. Man, gosh. And so they're supposed to be here tomorrow as of making this video. I'm making this video on July 27th, so they're supposed to be here tomorrow to put it in. So hopefully this will change. May I tell you what? Here I spent a lot of money. It just ticks me off. Here I spent a lot of money to have this shop done. I gave a list of what I wanted done to the shop to this contractor, and he accepted it. Gave me a quote, and I accepted it. And like I said, most of my friends know all about this. When I first did it, I gave him a list, and he said yes. He quoted me a number, and I agreed. Okay, that works. They were here for a week. Did the job, and then I get the final bill, and it's like a couple grand over what he quoted me. I said, "There's no way he quoted me," and I understood that the price could fluctuate within the problems, and and they would have to come to me, and we have to agree, and the price will go up a little bit, whatever. The guys never did come consult with me about anything, no problem. They just did it, and then wanted me to pay for it, which I'm like, no, that is not. So me and the guy went round and around on that, and I was like, fine, I'll pay it, get it out of my hair, and I ain't gonna do business with them again. So everything was good for a couple weeks, maybe a week, not even a week. The next day I went out there and I noticed an error bleeping on the split unit. And I'm like, what the heck? So I Googled it, saying that it could be a voltage thing or wires not tightened or whatever. Called them back, and this contractor, like, he was really unprofessional, hateful, hung up the phone on me. I mean, at that point, I was nice. I was being nice. Hey, dude, this thing ain't working. Can you come back here and fix it? Y'all put it in. I don't know what y'all did to it. And he reluctantly came out, and the guy did something and made it work for a day. And then did it again. I called him again, and that's when he accused me of not having the paperwork. I said, dude, there was no paperwork there. Y'all threw away the box and everything when you left. The only thing there was a remote. He swore up and down that the papers were there by the remote. I said, well, they're not unless they're invisible. The only thing that was there was a remote. I told him, the smartest thing you should have done is give it to me at the door. Y'all could have knocked on the door and handed it to me instead of just laying it out there in the first place. But there was only a remote out there. So said the guys threw it away. It could have been an accident, which is okay. I get that. Accidents happen, but the guy didn't really want to own up didn't want to back up his work. And then the ceiling starts falling down. Like I told you in my last post, I got to replace the boards. I got to screw them back up as they fall down. It's just been a total mess. And now I have to buy a new air conditioner, and which in the long run is going to be fine. I mean, I needed it. I needed it to be cool out there. I was going to bring the Lego back in here and be done with the shop thing. Um, but sorry about my stomach. It's hungry, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, back at the ranch. I do not understand why people can't. We hire a contractor that are supposed to back up to work. I'd figure. If my name was on the company, if I went and did something and it did not work, I want to make it right. So because it's my company, my name. Word of mouth is a good form of advertisement, and trust me, they're not getting a good review from me. I did a Google review on this company. I very well stated that I would not recommend this company to anybody. The guy is very unprofessional, and I will say the guys were respectful. They did the work as they were told, and one guy was nice. But overall experience horrible, and so now I'm having to pay and spend more money on it than I shouldn't have to. But anyway, we're getting it fixed, so that's a good thing. But I know this podcast ain't really a good podcast. It's kind of a down podcast. My suggestion to you guys is make sure you guys check the review. And what's sad is I did check the review after that car incident a while back. I looked at before I hired these people. I looked at the reviews online, and I think they paid people to give them good reviews. They had to, because they said, "Oh, this is a great company. The work was tremendous." There was this one review that said that the contractor didn't have very good communication. After all the reviews, there was just that one, and I go, well, okay, so there's one bad review, the rest of them are good. I just go with it, take a chance. Boy, I tell you what, I think companies out there pay people to put good reviews on there to help their business out, and if it is, that's bad practice to me. But I left a good review. I even took pictures, put pictures on it, showing that this is what's happening after their best work in the world reviews. I wanted to call each one of them out, say, you guys are lost your mind, or you guys are blind, but I didn't. But I wanted to. But now I'm getting the situation under hand. I did spend money on a little window unit to help. Thought maybe that would help it out. Maybe it'd be better, but it didn't. But this time I'm gonna put the small unit in the house and help the big air conditioner here at the house out. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. And but hopefully this time next week, everything be good, and that's what I'm hoping. Um, there are some leaks in that shop now. I gotta get fixed, and that was supposed to be done on that contractor's list too. But I don't think he went by the list. He just wanted to get the job done and get paid. I think that's all he wanted. So that's what we did. But it's horrible. If you have a business out there and so things messed up, man, I would suggest to back up your work. Something happened, you need to go out and fix it. That's your name, your reputation online, and you can start getting some bad reviews, bad publicity. Give up very much business. So, I also feel bad. I was informed that he had brain cancer, so I'm like, oh, dang, now I can't be that rough on him because that. But I think I did my due diligence, and I was respectful in every aspect of it, I was respectful. But at the end, just told him he offered to fix the leaks. I said, no, you should have done that the first time. You're not coming back on my property to work on anything. I paid you. Our business is done. Have a good time. Have a good life. Hope you get better. But I can't do business with you again. So that's what happened there. A little information podcast here. But hopefully next experience ain't gonna be that bad. Hope this air conditioner I put in today or this time will work and I'll have a good experience over it. That's what I'm hoping. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave this with you today. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope this is podcast my experiences, and this was an experience, and I wanted to share with you guys. Make sure you all hit the like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Don't always be good to one another. Be somebody's light, somebody's darkest cloud. Somebody could be having a bad day. A hello from you can make their day a whole lot better. Do unto others that you want done to yourself. Be good to one another. Treat somebody with respect. 9 times out of 10, they'll be respectful back to you. Guys, until the next one. Bye bye.